Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So, these are my thoughts on the first leg of the League Cup match that's just finished between Middlesbrough and Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea ended up somehow losing that one 1-0 in probably one of the worst performances, maybe even the worst performance I've seen from Chelsea this season. Anyway, like I always do, I'm going to start off with the lineup. Obviously, we had Petrovic in goal. On the right, Gusto, then Disasi and Thiago Silva in centre backs, and Colwill as left back. We had our sort of midfield three of Caicedo, Enzo, and Gallagher just in front, and we had a false nine in Palmer. And on the right, we had Madueke, and we had on the left we had Sterling. So that's the lineup. So in the match itself, this was absolutely horrific. We had so much of the ball, so much possession, but we had no creativity. There was no intensity. Players were not making runs. And when we did get the opportunities, we somehow missed them. But anyway, so in the first few minutes, obviously there's no VAR in the League Cup. Chelsea were potentially very fortunate with that, could easily have conceded a penalty in the first few minutes. Lucky we didn't. But we started this whole match very, very off. Like our defense seemed very shaky. Everyone seemed very nervous. Obviously this is the semi-final. This is the first leg of the semi-finals. Second leg happens in the next couple of weeks. But we were awful at the start. We couldn't really string a few passes together. We had all the ball, but we didn't really do anything. Middlesbrough obviously set up as a low block. They essentially wanted to hit us on the counter-attack because they knew with the pace they had up front that they could cause us a lot of issues, and obviously they did. But their actual defensive structure themselves, they're a very well-coached team. They are a very well-coached team. And as Chelsea have shown with this squad specifically over the last 6 or so months, we cannot break down a well-drilled defensive team. We struggle when opposition do not give us space. We struggle when we don't get in behind and use our pace. We struggle when we have to create opportunities. We just we don't know how to break down low blocks, especially if they're well drilled like this Middlesbrough team were. But our first massive chance happened around the half-hour mark. This was incredible. Like, one of their players makes a massive mistake, does a really poor pass. All of a sudden, Palmer's through on goal. And of all players you'd want, Palmer is the one player you would want to be in that position one-on-one, and 9 times out of 10, you're back in the score. Completely misses the target. I don't know how. I really don't understand how. Palmer has been our best player this season, I think. But that was shocking from him. Absolutely shocking. And it's just so frustrating that we had a great opportunity, because if we score that, all of a sudden Middlesbrough have to be more expansive and they have to take chances to come forward, and then we could hit them on the counter-attack ourselves. But because we don't, and it's still 0-0, it means they can keep that defensive structure. Anyway, not too long after that, we have around the 37th minute, I think it was Isaiah Jones literally just beats Colwill on our left-hand side. And Colwill once again proving that he is not a left-back. Surprise, surprise. Colwill, when dealing with one-on-one situations on the left, he's just not that good. It's not his position. He's a phenomenal centre-back, but once again, he's cost us. Anyway, Jones then hits the ball into the middle of the box, and I think it was Hayden Hackney who scored the goal. One of their local players. And the most frustrating thing about this is, if you watch the replay of it, Caicedo is with that player the entire time. If Caicedo stays with his man, Middlesbrough don't score. But because he leaves his man, has his hand behind his back, thinking that they're going to cross the ball, their player, Hackney, gets free, great pass across from Isaiah Jones, and then not easy, but great finish from Middlesbrough. And essentially, we couldn't capitalise on their mistake, but they were able to capitalise on ours. It was absolutely atrocious, and it's just not good enough. And once again, to me, it's proving time and time again that we need a left back. We need. I don't know I don't know why we keep playing Colwell at left back. He has shown this season that he is not good enough in that position. He needs to be playing in the middle too. He needs to be playing as a centre back. That is where he is brilliant. Not on the left hand side. And obviously, as everyone knows, we recently sold Martin to, I think, Dortmund. So we sold basically our only actual left back we have at the moment. So we're being forced to play Colwell. But again, it's such a weird decision from Poch to consistently play him instead of Martin. But anyway, right at the end of that, just a few minutes after that, Enzo Fernandez then has a shot, and obviously it's raining, and as a goalkeeper, when it's raining like that, it's quite difficult to catch the ball. So Enzo Fernandez has a shot, goalkeeper completely messes up the catch, and Palmer is right there. Great anticipation for him to get into the right position to expect the goalkeeper to mess up, and he just somehow, I genuinely don't know how he missed this chance. I'm struggling to understand how Palmer didn't score 2, maybe even 3 goals in this first half. This was his worst performance. This was Palmer's worst performance by a significant distance for Chelsea, and he should have scored at least 2 goals. Probably should have scored a hat-trick if we're being completely honest here. But again, Enzo Fernandez, it wasn't even a good shot from Enzo, but poor catch from the goalkeeper, and then Palmer literally somehow gets his foot underneath the ball and completely, an open goal, skies it. I mean, it was shocking. And then right at the end of the first half, Palmer is thrown goal again, but clearly those first 2 misses had just affected him. So his entire mindset was then just get the ball on target, and his shot was just a very weak shot. But again, their goalkeeper spilled it, hits the defender, and bounces straight back to the goalkeeper. Their goalkeeper was not that good, and yet we couldn't take advantage. So that was the end of an extremely frustrating first half. But again, you're thinking, you know what? Against Preston, we were awful in the first half. We created a few chances. Surely in the second half, we can't be this bad. So into the second half, and you're thinking, okay, look, we're 1-0 down. Probably could easily been 3-1 up, maybe at least 2-1 up. But fine, surely we'll get ourselves back into this. I mean, we are playing Middlesbrough. We are Chelsea Football Club playing Middlesbrough. We cannot lose to these people. This is a semi-final of a cup. We cannot go to Stamford Bridge losing 1-0. It's just unforgivable from these players. And yeah, sure. I mean, we dominated the second half. I mean, it means nothing. Middlesbrough came out in that second half and they didn't need to do anything. All they needed to do was carry on exactly what they did beforehand, sit behind the ball and force Chelsea to try and break them down. And Chelsea Football Club, once again with these players, had no answer for the defensive unit of Middlesbrough. They could not break them down. I don't know what these players do in training, but we are so bad when we have to face a defensive team, which is most clubs in this sport. We had no creativity. Like, I think there's only one chance I can really remember in the second half, and that was Gallagher's, and that wasn't a massive chance. He probably should have got it on target, but it wasn't a massive chance. I mean, they were awful. We dominated the ball. We literally camped. For like the majority of that second half, we camped outside that box, but we couldn't do anything. Their goalkeeper had an easy second half. I don't think he made a single save, or maybe he made 1 or 2 catches and that's it. I mean, all in all, this was just really unforgivable. It's unacceptable and unforgivable. It's atrocious from these players, but it's shocking from Poch. He had no ideas, and he's shown time and time again he has no idea when facing a low block, and that's a worry. Our substitutes were, I think, Brozier and Mudryk, who came on the 63rd minute. I mean, they didn't do anything. No one did anything. Obviously, we've had a lot of injuries recently, but like, these players should still be good enough to beat Middlesbrough. Losing 1-0 to Middlesbrough is just unforgivable from these lot. And this is such a massive opportunity to win a trophy, and these players weren't playing like it. They weren't playing like it was a semi-final. They just didn't know what they were doing. And the most frustrating thing is now we have the second leg at Stamford Bridge. I think it is on the 23rd. So the second leg is on the 23rd. So in between them, we have the game against Fulham. But that game, that match at Stamford Bridge, I mean, if we play like we did tonight, we're out. We're out. And I just don't understand how these players could be so bad. In the second half, the amount of players who couldn't control a football was worrying. Like they would a decent pass would get to them, and then their touch would be atrocious, and then any opportunity Chelsea could have created is then just done. So yeah, I mean, in reality, we could easily have played for another 2-3 hours, and I don't think we would have scored. We were just that bad in front of goal. And again, this is such a big opportunity. It's one match now. It's one match. We're losing 1-0. It's one match. It's at Stamford Bridge on the 23rd. We have to win that by 2 goals to go through. We cannot go out in the League Cup semi-final against Middlesbrough. It's unforgivable. Anyway, guys, our next game is against Fulham on the 13th, on Saturday. And we have to win that. Like, we have to win that. I mean, but these players have not been good enough recently. Even though we've gotten wins, these players just haven't been good enough as a whole. So we have to beat Fulham. And then the match after that is Middlesbrough at Stamford Bridge. So 2 massive matches. And after that, I think we have Liverpool. So 2 gigantic matches now to really just help us do something this season. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all on the 13th when we have hopefully somehow got a bounce back win against Fulham.